My name is Ethan, and I am 35 years old. I am married to the most wonderful woman in the world, Emma. She is the light of my life, my rock, and my confidant. Our marriage is built on a foundation of mutual love, respect, and unwavering faith in God. From the moment we met, it was evident that our paths were destined to intertwine, and we have walked together in faith ever since. Our life together is one of simplicity and devotion. We live in a modest apartment in the heart of the city, a place that we have made our sanctuary. It is filled with warmth and love, a testament to the life we have built together. The walls are adorned with religious artifacts and scripture, constant reminders of the faith that binds us. Every morning, without fail, we begin our day with a shared ritual, reading the Bible together and offering prayers for guidance, strength, and gratitude. Our routine is a source of comfort and stability, anchoring us in our beliefs and in each other. Emma and I have always believed that our faith would guide us through the trials and tribulations of life, providing us with the strength to face whatever challenges may come our way. It is this unwavering faith that has seen us through some of the darkest moments, and allowed us to celebrate the brightest. One morning, as I was preparing breakfast in our small, yet cozy kitchen, I noticed something unusual about Emma's demeanor. She appeared distracted, her mind seemingly elsewhere. This was uncharacteristic of her, as she was typically focused and present, especially during our morning routine. As I watched her move through the motions of getting ready for work, it became clear to me that something was weighing heavily on her mind. I decided not to press her immediately, choosing instead to wait for the right moment to inquire about her troubles. Emma had always been an open book, sharing her thoughts and worries with me freely. However, this time, she seemed hesitant, almost as if she was grappling with something too complex or painful to articulate. I hoped that whatever was troubling her was not too serious, and that she would feel comfortable sharing it with me when she was ready. As the day progressed, the sense of unease that had settled over our morning lingered in my mind. I found myself constantly distracted, replaying the events of the morning and trying to decipher the cause of Emma's distress. My concern for her grew with each passing hour, and I prayed silently for her peace of mind and for the wisdom to support her through whatever she was facing. That evening, we were scheduled to have dinner at Emma's parents' house. This was a regular occurrence, a cherished tradition that strengthened the bonds of our family. Emma's parents, Lisa and David, were warm and loving individuals who had welcomed me into their family with open arms. Their home, a charming old farmhouse in the countryside, was a place of comfort and nostalgia for Emma. It was where she had grown up, surrounded by love and a strong sense of community. As we drove to the farmhouse, I could sense Emma's tension building. She was unusually quiet, her eyes fixed on the passing scenery, lost in thought. I reached over and gently squeezed her hand, offering her a reassuring smile. She returned the gesture, but her smile did not reach her eyes. My concern for her deepened, and I silently prayed for the right moment to ask her about what was troubling her. When we arrived at her parents' house, the atmosphere was different from what I had expected. The usual warmth and cheerfulness were replaced by a heavy, almost palpable tension. Lisa and David greeted us warmly, but there was an underlying sense of unease that I couldn't quite place. Throughout dinner, I observed Lisa closely. She seemed distant, preoccupied with something that she was not ready to share. It was during this dinner that I first began to suspect that something was seriously amiss. Lisa's behavior was not just a fleeting moment of distraction, it was a profound and unsettling change. She excused herself abruptly from the table and went upstairs, leaving an awkward silence in her wake. My curiosity was piqued, and I decided to follow her quietly, my heart pounding with a mix of apprehension and determination. As the evening progressed, I could not shake off the feeling that something was deeply wrong. Lisa's abrupt departure from the dinner table had left me unsettled, and I felt an inexplicable urge to uncover the truth behind her unusual behavior. The atmosphere in the house had grown heavy with unspoken tension, and even David, usually so jovial and welcoming, seemed unusually reserved. After a few moments of internal deliberation, I quietly excused myself and made my way upstairs. The wooden steps creaked under my weight, each sound amplified in the otherwise silent house. I approached Lisa's bedroom door, which was slightly ajar, allowing a sliver of light to spill into the dimly lit hallway. My heart pounded in my chest as I gently pushed the door open wider. What I saw next shook me to my core. Lisa was kneeling beside her bed, hurriedly tucking something underneath it. Her hands moved with a frantic urgency, and her expression was one of palpable fear and guilt. Before I could fully process the scene, she stood up abruptly and turned toward the door. Our eyes met for a brief, tense moment before she brushed past me without a word, her face a mask of stoic determination. I waited until I was sure she had descended the stairs before I entered her room. The air inside was thick with a sense of foreboding, and my every instinct screamed at me to turn back. But my curiosity and concern for my family pushed me forward. I knelt down beside the bed, my hands trembling as I reached underneath and pulled out the object Lisa had so hastily hidden. It was a book, old and covered in a layer of dust that suggested it had been hidden away for some time. The cover was adorned with strange symbols and inscriptions that I did not recognize, their sinister appearance sending a shiver down my spine. I opened the book and began to leaf through its pages, my initial confusion quickly giving way to horror. The text within was written in an archaic language, but the illustrations were unmistakable, depictions of dark rituals and incantations that left no doubt about the book's malevolent nature. My mind raced as I tried to make sense of the discovery. How could Lisa, a woman who had always been a pillar of our family, be involved in something so sinister? The implications were too overwhelming to process in that moment, and I knew I needed to confront her about it. But I also knew that I had to approach the situation with care and compassion, for the sake of Emma and our family. I carefully replaced the book under the bed, my heart heavy with the weight of what I had uncovered. As I made my way back downstairs, I resolved to find a way to address this revelation without causing unnecessary pain or conflict. The drive back to our apartment that night was filled with silence, both Emma and I lost in our own thoughts. I held her hand tightly, praying silently for the strength and wisdom to navigate the difficult path that lay ahead. The discovery of the satanic tome had opened a door to a dark and unsettling truth, one that would test our faith and our resilience in ways we could never have imagined. As I lay awake that night, the gravity of the situation settled over me like a heavy shroud. I knew that our lives were about to change in ways we could not yet comprehend, and I prayed fervently for God's guidance and protection in the days to come. The days that followed were marked by a growing sense of unease. The discovery of the satanic tome had unsettled me deeply, and I could not shake the image of Lisa's frantic behavior from my mind. I knew that I needed to confront her about what I had found, but the thought of causing pain and conflict within our family weighed heavily on my heart. Nevertheless, I resolved to address the issue, knowing that the truth needed to be brought to light. One evening, after much prayer and reflection, I decided that it was time to speak with Lisa. Emma and I invited her to our apartment for dinner, hoping that the familiar and comfortable setting would provide a conducive environment for the difficult conversation that lay ahead. As we sat down to eat, I could feel the tension in the air, an unspoken understanding that something significant was about to unfold. After the meal, I gently broached the subject. "Lisa," I began, my voice steady but filled with concern. "There's something important that I need to discuss with you. It's been weighing on my mind since our last visit to your house." Lisa looked at me with a mixture of apprehension and curiosity. "What is it, Ethan?" she asked, her tone cautious. I took a deep breath, gathering my thoughts. "When we were at your house, I noticed that you seemed distressed. Later, I saw you hide something under your bed, and after you left the room, I found a book there. It was a satanic tome, filled with dark rituals and symbols." The color drained from Lisa's face, and she stared at me in shock. For a moment, the room was filled with an unbearable silence. Then, with a trembling voice, she spoke. "Ethan, I didn't want anyone to know. I never meant for this to come to light." Emma, who had been quietly listening, placed a comforting hand on her mother's arm. "Mom, we're here for you. We just want to understand what's going on and how we can help." Lisa's eyes welled up with tears, and she took a moment to collect herself before speaking again. "I've been involved in those practices for years. she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. It started out of curiosity, but over time, it became something I couldn't escape. I've felt trapped and consumed by guilt and fear, but I didn't know how to break free. Her confession hung heavily in the air, and I felt a mix of sorrow and determination. Lisa, I said gently, we love you, and we want to help you find your way back to the light. This isn't something you have to face alone. We can pray together, seek guidance, and support you through this journey. Lisa nodded, her tears flowing freely now. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you, Emma. I've been so lost, and I don't know how to find my way back. I need help, and I need God's forgiveness. Emma embraced her mother, and I joined them, enveloping both of them in a hug. We prayed together, asking God for strength, guidance, and forgiveness. It was a moment of profound vulnerability and hope, a step toward healing and redemption. The initial confrontation had been painful, but it was also a turning point. We had opened the door to addressing the darkness that had plagued Lisa, and we were committed to helping her find her way back to the light. As we continued to pray and support each other, I felt a renewed sense of faith and determination. The road ahead would be challenging, but we were not alone. God was with us, guiding us every step of the way. The days that followed our confrontation with Lisa were filled with a mix of hope and uncertainty. While we had taken the first step towards addressing the darkness that had consumed her, the path to true healing and redemption was still unclear. We needed guidance, both spiritual and practical, to navigate the challenges that lay ahead. With this in mind, I decided to seek counsel from our church community. One crisp Sunday morning, I attended the early service at our church, a grand and historical building that stood as a beacon of faith in the heart of the city. The stained glass windows cast colorful patterns of light across the pews, creating an atmosphere of reverence and tranquility. As I sat in the quiet sanctuary, I felt a deep sense of peace wash over me, a reminder of the strength that could be found in our faith. After the service, I approached Pastor James, a wise and compassionate leader who had recently joined our congregation. He had quickly become a trusted advisor and friend, known for his deep understanding of spiritual matters and his ability to provide comfort and clarity in times of crisis. Pastor James, could I speak with you for a moment? I asked, my voice tinged with urgency. Of course, Ethan, he replied warmly, gesturing for me to join him in his office. What's on your mind? Once we were seated, I recounted the events of the past few weeks, from the discovery of the satanic tome to the confrontation with Lisa. Pastor James listened intently, his expression a mix of concern and empathy. When I had finished, he leaned back in his chair, deep in thought. Ethan, he began, it sounds like you and your family are facing a profound spiritual challenge. The presence of such dark influences can be deeply troubling, but it's important to remember that God's light is always stronger than any darkness. The first step is to surround Lisa with love, support, and prayer. She needs to know that she is not alone in this journey. I nodded, absorbing his words. We've been praying together and trying to provide as much support as we can. But I feel like we need more guidance on how to help her break free from these influences. Pastor James leaned forward, his gaze earnest. In cases like this, it's crucial to seek both spiritual and practical help. Continue to pray with her and for her, asking for God's intervention and protection. Additionally, it may be beneficial to seek the help of a Christian counselor or therapist who specializes in spiritual warfare and deliverance. They can provide the tools and support needed to address the psychological and spiritual aspects of her involvement. His advice resonated deeply with me, and I felt a renewed sense of purpose. Thank you, Pastor James. Your guidance means a lot to us. We will take these steps and continue to rely on our faith to see us through. Before I left, we prayed together, asking for God's wisdom, strength, and protection for Lisa and our entire family. As I walked out of the church, I felt a weight lifted from my shoulders. We had a plan, and we were not facing this battle alone. God was with us, and with His guidance, we would find a way to overcome the darkness. Returning home, I shared Pastor James' advice with Emma. We decided to seek out a Christian counselor who could help Lisa address both the spiritual and psychological aspects of her situation. It was a step that required humility and trust, but we were committed to doing whatever it took to support her on her path to redemption. We found a counselor, Dr. Rebecca, who came highly recommended by our church community. Her approach was compassionate and holistic, integrating spiritual principles with practical therapeutic techniques. During our first meeting, she listened attentively as we explained Lisa's situation and our concerns. "Lisa, the journey you're on is challenging, but it's also an opportunity for profound transformation," Dr. Rebecca said gently. "With the support of your family and your faith, you can break free from these dark influences. We will work together to address the fears, guilt, and any other emotions that may be holding you back." Lisa nodded, her eyes filled with a mix of apprehension and hope. "I want to be free from this," she said quietly. "I want to find my way back to God." The sessions with Dr. Rebecca provided Lisa with a safe space to explore her fears and confront the dark influences that had taken hold of her life. Through prayer, therapy, and unwavering support from our family and church community, we began to see small but significant changes in Lisa. She started to open up more, expressing her guilt, fear, and the deep desire to return to the light. Each session was a step forward on a difficult but hopeful path. We prayed together before and after each meeting, asking for God's guidance and protection. Slowly, the heavy shroud of darkness that had once enveloped Lisa began to lift. She was not yet free, but she was on the path to healing, guided by her faith and the love of those around her. As we continued this journey, I felt a deepening sense of gratitude for the strength of our faith and the support of our community. The road ahead was still long and fraught with challenges, but we faced it with renewed hope and determination. Together, with God's grace, we would overcome the darkness and find the light once more. Weeks turned into months as we continued to support Lisa on her path to redemption. The progress was slow, but it was there. The sessions with Dr. Rebecca were proving invaluable, helping Lisa confront her fears and unravel the dark influences that had once held her captive. Our prayers and the strength of our faith provided the foundation for this journey, but I knew there was still much work to be done. One particularly significant day, we invited Lisa to our apartment for an extended weekend stay. We hoped that the change of environment and the closeness of family would offer her additional comfort and support. As we sat together in the living room, the afternoon sun casting a warm glow through the windows, I noticed a change in Lisa. She seemed more at peace, her demeanor more relaxed than I had seen in months. It was during this visit that the revelation came, one that would change the course of our journey. Late one evening, after a long day of sharing stories and prayers, Lisa approached me with a look of determination in her eyes. "Ethan, there is something I need to show you," she said quietly, her voice steady. Curious and somewhat apprehensive, I followed her to the guest room where she was staying. From under the bed, she pulled out the same dusty old book that I had discovered months earlier. My heart raced as I recognized the satanic tome, the source of so much turmoil and fear. "I've been thinking a lot about this book," Lisa said, holding it with a firm grip. "It has haunted me for years, but I believe it's time to confront it directly. I want to show you something that I found inside, something I didn't understand before." She opened the book to a page marked with a tattered ribbon. The symbols and inscriptions on the page were as dark and foreboding as ever, but Lisa pointed to a passage at the bottom of the page. "This here," she said, her finger tracing the lines of text. "I believe it's a spell, a binding of some sort. It's what has kept me trapped in this darkness. But I also found this," she continued, flipping to another page. "A counterspell, a way to break the binding." My eyes widened as I read the text. It was a prayer, written in an ancient language, but unmistakably a call for divine intervention and protection. It was clear that this book, though filled with darkness, also contained elements of light and redemption, hidden within its pages. "I think," Lisa said, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and hope, "that this prayer could help me break free from the darkness that has held me captive. But I can't do it alone. I need your help, and I need God's help." The weight of her words settled over me, and I felt a profound sense of purpose. This was the moment we had been praying for, the revelation that could lead to Lisa's liberation. I nodded, my resolve strengthening. Lisa, we are with you every step of the way. We will pray together and ask for God's intervention. That night, as the three of us knelt in prayer, we recited the ancient words from the book, asking for divine protection and the breaking of the dark binding that had ensnared Lisa for so long. The atmosphere in the room was charged with a sense of spiritual warfare, a battle between light and darkness playing out in our midst. As we prayed, I felt a powerful presence fill the room, a tangible sense of God's grace and protection enveloping us. Lisa's voice grew stronger, more confident, as she recited the prayer. Tears streamed down her face, but they were tears of release, of letting go of the fear and guilt that had burdened her for so long. When we finished, a profound silence settled over us. Lisa looked up, her face radiant with hope and relief. I feel free, she whispered, her voice filled with awe. I feel like a weight has been lifted from my soul. Emma and I embraced her, our hearts overflowing with gratitude and joy. It was a moment of profound revelation and decision. Lisa had confronted the darkness head-on and, with God's help, had begun the process of breaking free. It was not the end of our journey, but it was a significant and hopeful turning point. In the days that followed, Lisa continued to make strides in her recovery. The darkness that had once overshadowed her life was steadily being replaced by light and hope. Our family grew closer, united by the shared experience of spiritual warfare and the miraculous power of God's grace. This revelation had not only changed Lisa's life but had also strengthened our faith and resolve. We had witnessed firsthand the power of prayer, the importance of unwavering support, and the boundless love of God. It was a lesson we would carry with us always, a testament to the transformative power of faith and the enduring strength of the human spirit. As the days turned into weeks following Lisa's profound revelation, we witnessed a remarkable transformation in her. The darkness that had once plagued her seemed to be dissipating, replaced by a growing sense of peace and light. Her newfound freedom from the oppressive forces was palpable, and our family felt a renewed sense of hope and unity. However, we knew that the journey was not yet complete. The final confrontation with the remnants of her past was still to come, and it would require all the strength and faith we could muster. The morning of the final confrontation arrived with an unusual stillness. The air was thick with anticipation, and an unspoken understanding passed between us. We had planned to hold a prayer meeting at our church, inviting our closest friends and members of our congregation to join us in supporting Lisa. It was to be a day of spiritual warfare, a decisive battle against the lingering shadows of her past. As we gathered in the church, the atmosphere was charged with a sense of purpose and determination. The stained glass windows cast vibrant colors across the room, a reminder of the divine light that guided us. Pastor James stood at the front, his presence a reassuring anchor for the spiritual battle ahead. He addressed the congregation with a voice filled with conviction. Today, we gather not just as a church, but as a family united in faith, he began. We are here to support Lisa in her journey of healing and redemption. We stand together against the forces of darkness, knowing that God's light will prevail. Lisa stepped forward, her expression resolute. She had come a long way since that fateful day when we discovered the satanic tome. The fear and guilt that had once dominated her life were now replaced with a steely determination to break free from the last vestiges of her past. She spoke to the congregation, her voice unwavering. I have been on a journey of darkness and fear, she said, her eyes scanning the room. But with the support of my family and the grace of God, I have found the strength to confront my past. Today, I stand before you, ready to break free from the chains that have bound me for so long. The congregation responded with a chorus of affirmations, their collective faith a powerful force. We joined hands and began to pray, our voices rising in unison. The prayers were fervent and filled with conviction, a call for divine intervention and protection. As we prayed, I felt a powerful presence fill the room, a tangible manifestation of God's grace and love. Suddenly, the air grew colder, and a palpable tension gripped the room. It was as if the very forces we were battling had made their presence known, a final attempt to hold on to Lisa. She trembled, but her resolve did not waver. Pastor James stepped forward, his voice commanding and filled with authority. "In the name of Jesus Christ, we rebuke the forces of darkness," he declared. "We command you to release Lisa and leave this place. You have no power here, for God's light is stronger than any darkness." The congregation echoed his words, their voices a powerful chorus of faith and determination. Lisa knelt at the altar, tears streaming down her face. We continued to pray, our hearts united in the battle for her soul. The tension in the room reached a crescendo, and then, just as suddenly, it broke. A sense of profound peace washed over us, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. Lisa's trembling ceased, and she looked up, her face radiant with relief and joy. "It's over," she whispered, her voice filled with awe. "I feel free." We embraced her, our hearts overflowing with gratitude and love. The final confrontation had ended in victory, a testament to the power of faith and the unwavering strength of our community. The consequences of Lisa's past had been confronted head-on, and with God's help, she had emerged victorious. In the days that followed, we continued to support Lisa as she adjusted to her newfound freedom. The final confrontation had been a turning point, not just for her, but for all of us. We had witnessed the transformative power of faith and the boundless love of God. Our family grew stronger, united by the shared experience of spiritual warfare and the miraculous power of divine intervention. The journey had been long and fraught with challenges, but it had also been a profound testament to the strength of the human spirit and the power of unwavering faith. Lisa's transformation was a beacon of hope, a reminder that no darkness is too great to overcome with the light of God's love. We faced the future with renewed hope and determination, knowing that we had the strength to overcome any challenge that lay ahead. The final confrontation had marked a significant turning point in Lisa's journey, but it was only the beginning of her path to full healing and redemption. In the weeks that followed, we focused on solidifying the progress she had made and ensuring that the light which had now entered her life would continue to grow stronger. Our family, united by the shared experiences of spiritual warfare and unwavering faith, worked together to support Lisa as she embraced her new life free from the shadows of her past. One bright Sunday morning, as the early sunlight filtered through our apartment windows, we gathered for our regular prayer and Bible study session. This time, Lisa joined us, her presence a testament to the transformation that had taken place within her. The atmosphere was one of peace and hope, a stark contrast to the tension and fear that had once dominated our lives. Today's scripture is from Isaiah 41 verse 10. I began, my voice filled with gratitude and reverence. So do not fear, for I am with you, do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. This verse reminds us that no matter what we face, God is always with us, providing strength and guidance. As we read the passage and reflected on its meaning, I looked at Lisa, who was quietly absorbing the words. Her eyes were filled with a sense of calm and determination. She had come a long way from the woman who had been trapped in a web of darkness and fear. Now, she was a beacon of hope, a living testament to the power of faith and the transformative love of God. After our Bible study, we decided to take a walk in the nearby park, a place where we often found solace and inspiration. The park was alive with the vibrant colors of spring, the air filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the sounds of chirping birds. It was a perfect setting for the reflection and conversation that would mark the final chapter of our journey. As we walked along the winding paths, Lisa spoke about her experiences and the changes she had undergone. I can't begin to express how grateful I am for the support and love you all have shown me, she said, her voice steady and sincere. There were times when I didn't believe I could ever be free from the darkness, but your faith in me and in God's power gave me the strength to keep going. Emma squeezed her mother's hand, her eyes brimming with tears of joy. We've always believed in you, Mom. Your courage and determination have been an inspiration to all of us. We're so proud of how far you've come. Lisa smiled, her expression one of deep gratitude. I've learned that true freedom comes from letting go of fear and trusting in God's love. The journey has been difficult, but it has also been a profound blessing. I feel like I've been given a second chance, and I intend to make the most of it. Our walk continued, and we talked about the future and the plans we had for our lives. Lisa expressed a desire to become more involved in our church community, to help others who might be struggling with their own battles against darkness. I want to share my story, she said, to offer hope and encouragement to those who feel lost and afraid. If my experience can help even one person, then it will have been worth it. We returned home later that afternoon, our hearts full of hope and gratitude. The journey we had undertaken as a family had brought us closer together, deepened our faith, and taught us invaluable lessons about the power of love and redemption. Lisa's transformation was a beacon of hope, a reminder that no matter how dark the path may seem, there is always light at the end, guided by the love and grace of God. In the following months, Lisa became an active member of our church community. She shared her testimony with the congregation, her story of transformation inspiring many and bringing hope to those who were struggling. Her courage and determination to embrace her new life were evident in every action, and her faith continued to grow stronger with each passing day. Our family thrived, united by the shared experience of overcoming the darkness and embracing the light. We continued our daily rituals of prayer and Bible study, drawing strength from our faith and from each other. The challenges we had faced had not only tested our resilience, but had also reinforced the bonds of love and trust that held us together. Looking back on our journey, I am humbled by the power of God's love and the strength of the human spirit. We had faced seemingly insurmountable obstacles, but through faith, perseverance, and unwavering support, we had emerged victorious. Lisa's story was a testament to the transformative power of faith and the boundless possibilities of redemption. As I reflect on the past and look forward to the future, I am filled with a profound sense of gratitude. Our journey has taught us that no matter how dark the path may seem, there is always hope, always light, and always the promise of a new beginning. With God's grace and the love of family, we can overcome any challenge and find the strength to embrace the life that lies ahead.